If you're looking for the best laptop for making music, here's a list you must see. We made this list based on our personal preference and sorted it based on their features, prices, quality, durability, and reputation of the manufacturers and customer feedback. Also, we've included options for every type of customer. So let's get started. At the first position of our list, we have Apple MacBook Pro 14. If you've used Apple MacBook Pro models in the past, you'll be well aware of the striking industrial design, Retina screens, and the optimized marriage of in-house hardware and software combining to make a highly desirable, hugely capable laptop for music production. So to look at the 2022 Apple MacBook Pro 14, you might feel a little underwhelmed. It doesn't have a flashy new design or a vastly upgraded screen. What has happened out of sight within the body of the machine has been completely enhanced though. Making use of the newest Mode Pro or Mode Max chips, the 14 model now has enough in the way of processing power and cutting-edge performance to suit even the most demanding of creative professionals. Configurable to include some frankly crazy specs, like up to 64 GB of RAM and 8 TB of SSD storage. This is a laptop for music production unlike any other. Yes, it's expensive. Maxing out the configurator on Apple's website shows you could be paying around $6,000 for the highest spec version. But if you can afford it, there is literally no other machine capable of doing what this laptop can do. Moving on to the next at number 2 with Dell XPS 13 OLED. Another year, another addition to the formidable Dell XPS lineup. Built as the ideal laptop for on-the-go creatives who don't fancy signing up to the Apple walled garden and the closest Windows alternative to an Apple MacBook Pro. The Dell XPS line has built up a strong reputation thanks to its sleek design, gorgeous screens, and powerful spec. The XPS range delivers similar levels of style, quality, and performance to the MVP, but using Windows as its OS. As it stands, other than looking at high-spec elite gaming laptops, you're not going to get a much better package for the money. The 2021 vintage packs in an updated 11th generation Intel Core i5 or i7 processor, plus the addition of a 4K OLED screen. This perhaps won't be the show-stopping headline feature a music maker will go for. But if the laptop is to serve other purposes like watching films or generally staring at it in wonder, then the Dell XPS 2021 OLED might just be the perfect option. There's a beefier 15 model further up the range, but for most people the XPS 13 makes for a pretty compelling package. The number 3 position is held by Apple MacBook Pro M1 13. If you read the generalist mainstream tech media reviews of the latest Apple Silicon laptops, you'd be forgiven for thinking we'd witnessed a paradigm change. Apple's new in-house M1 chip does seem to perform streets ahead of its competition, promising unprecedented boosts in speed, performance, and battery life. It does this by combining CPU, GPU, and memory into one chip, greatly reducing power usage and delivering a hugely optimized computing experience. Does that mean musicians and studio owners should invest right away? The more hands-on time we've had with the M1-equipped machines, the more we're heading in that direction. While having a powerful machine is one part of the equation, we're also reliant on the hardware playing nicely with the software packages we use in our work. As you'd expect, Logic Pro X and GarageBand users can immediately take advantage of all this extra optimization, but for users of Live, Cubase, Pro Tools et al. The picture is less clear. Full support is coming though. If Apple's lofty promises over performance are kept, and usually they are, and this could be a revolutionary machine. Next at number 4 we have Apple MacBook Air M1. It used to be that if you were a serious music maker, anything under Apple's MacBook Pro line simply wouldn't cut it for the processor and RAM-intensive tasks put upon it by audio production. With the new M1 chip inside the 2021 Apple MacBook Air, however, that can largely be put to bed, at least for the majority of home producers. Add into that the inherent benefits of the Air, slim form factor, weighs the same as a crisp packet, and you've got a pretty formidable production machine, particularly if your workflow involves traveling around. If we were being picky, we could say it's slightly disappointing there hasn't been a design revolution. It looks largely the same as the Air range always has, and a few more USB ports would always be nice, but opting for Apple's cheaper model no longer means missing out on production performance in the way it once might have done. The number 5 position is held by Razer Blade 15 Studio Edition. Think of a gaming laptop, and you probably imagine garish colors, RGB lights all over the shop, and enough power under the hood to light up a continent. With the Razer Blade 15 Studio, however, we have a monstrously powerful laptop with its origins in the gaming world, but with its sights very much set on creative pursuits. There are some nice visual touches, from the customizable RGB backlighting on the keys, but otherwise this is a strong, slick studio beast which demands attention. This includes a new 10th generation 8-core Intel Core i-Spin 10875H processor and the incredibly powerful NVIDIA Quadro RTX 5000 graphics card, which, coupled with 32 GB of RAM and a 1 TB solid-state drive (SSD), makes this one of the most powerful laptops on the market today, and one that's aimed squarely at creative professionals who do a lot of very intensive rendering and editing. That will put it out of the reach of most people, but the level of polish and performance you get here is pretty much unrivaled. We must give particular props to the screen. It's a 4K touchscreen OLED that supports 100% of the DCI P3 color gamut, and it's bright and vibrant, producing accurate colors. To make the price slightly more justified, you're getting the kind of power you'd usually find in a desktop PC, but in a thin and light laptop form factor. And battery life isn't too bad either. All of makes the Studio Edition 2020 pretty much unbeatable as a mobile workstation. The number 6 position is dominated by Microsoft Surface Laptop 2. The Surface Laptop 2's keyboard deck is a soft touch, almost fuzzy material, Alcantara, Microsoft calls it, which feels comfortable on the wrist. I'd surmise that this material could be a bit more prone to getting dirty than metal or plastic, but the original Surface laptop I've been using off and on for the past year hasn't shown any grunge on its great peach fuzz deck. Also, as with all Surface devices, the keyboard proper is quite comfortable. The keys have an appropriate amount of travel without feeling mushy or cheap, and they feature 3 levels of backlight brightness, glowing in white. The Surface Laptop 2's so-called Pixel Sense display is the same unusual twinner size of 13.5 inches. It looks great, even if it's not packing any especially fancy features, because of its 3:2 aspect ratio rather than the far more common widescreen 16:9. It's better than Full HD resolution isn't the usual 2560 by 1440 pixels, but rather 2256 by 1504 pixels. This is roughly the 3:2 equivalent of QHD, the most common resolution waypoint between Full HD 1080p and 4K, so the picture quality is nice and sharp. The touchpad is roomy and tracks smoothly, though I have one complaint: it's a bit loud when you press and to click. I can't help but be conscious of it when I have to click it repeatedly. I imagine it would irritate your neighbors in a coffee shop before too long, though you can tap for a touch click if needed. Moving on to the next at number 7 with Asus ROG Strix Roman 3 laptop. At the higher end of the gaming PC spectrum, not a bad place for music producers to look when sheer power is required. There are some serious studio contenders. The Asus ROG Strix is evidence of this, with an Intel i-Spin processor and a base spec of 16 GB of RAM. You know this machine can chew through any audio production task you throw at it. Asus is back for part 3 with the ROG Strix Roman 3, and the new version is just as badass as its predecessor. You get a powerful RTX 2060 GPU wrapped in a chassis packing a smooth 15.6-inch 240Hz panel, a comfortable keyboard, and a cool ROG keystone. However, the chassis is a little thick, and there's no webcam in sight. But topping off the Strix Roman 3's qualities, you'll find good battery life and a pair of solid speakers, making this one of the best gaming laptops around. The number 8 position is held by MSI GF63 Laptop. MSI is one of the more respected names in gaming PC, so it figures that their flagship mid-range offer features some decent internals. The MSI GF63 is the ideal blend of performance and aesthetics, and would make a superb laptop for anyone using their laptop for live performance or as a portable studio on account of its thin form factor and cooling features. Performance-wise, it's packing a 2.4 GHz IFA processor, so solid enough to cope with most tasks. We like the potential for upgrading though. It ships with 8 GB of DDR4 RAM installed, but with space to house up to 64 GB, so the potential for future-proofing your rig is clear. As your live sets or studio sessions grow in size, so too can your laptop. Keep a microfiber cloth on hand. The MSI GF63 collects fingerprints like a detective investigating a crime. The laptop's plastic lid and deck were covered in smudges by the time I first placed it on my desk. The right side of the GF63 has two more USB 3.1 ports and a USB Type-C port. Sadly, no Thunderbolt 3. There is also an Ethernet port for a stable internet connection, and separate mic and headphone jacks if you want to connect a professional microphone. Next at number 9, we have Microsoft Surface Pro 7. As Microsoft's riposte to Apple's dominance, the stakes were high when it released the Surface Pro series. With Apple's hold on creative professionals being so strong, the Surface Pro had a lot to live up to. And with the Microsoft Surface Pro 7, it is edging ever closer to bridging that gap. Admittedly, a Razer thin 2-in-1 is never going to be the production powerhouse that a dedicated PC or Mac would be. But as a device geared towards portability, it's near impeccable. The main stumbling block will be the price. For a fully tricked-out version with Intel i7 processor and 16 GB of RAM, you're looking north of $2. But as a premium device that can handle music, along with everything else life can throw at you, it's a solid option. A quoted full day of battery life is not to be sniffed at either. Finally, the number 10 position is dominated by Asus ZenBook Flip SU X370 laptop. Asus has struck gold with its new refresh of its ZenBook Flip S 2-in-1 laptop. With the Asus ZenBook Flip SU X370 impressing us so much, it's made its way into our list of the 10 best laptops for music production you can buy right now. With a new KB Lake R8 generation processor powering the device, plenty of RAM, and a super fast PCIe SSD in certain models, this is an absolutely stunning addition to our rundown of the best laptops for music production. Essentially, there are two different storage solutions on offer for the Asus ZenBook Flip SU X370. A straight SATA SSD version and the much faster PCIe NVMe SSD. We'll get onto the performance metrics shortly, but essentially you're looking at 6 times the read performance with the latter, and 3 times the write performance, which makes for a much more responsive experience. Its 2-in-1 design means you can use it as both a laptop and a tablet, and while it's not as affordable as some machines on this list, if you have the budget, you'll be really happy with this fantastic device. That's all for today. We upload music product review videos every single day, so don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for the upcoming video notification.